You are floating calmly at the surface of the ocean, where sunlight fractures into glittering shards and the water feels deceptively gentle. The sea looks harmless here, almost inviting. Then something grazes your leg. It feels light at first, like a strand of seaweed or a drifting thread. You barely react. But within seconds, that sensation changes. The contact burns. The burn deepens. It doesn't fade the way a scratch or jellyfish sting should. Instead, it spreads, pulsing outward as if the pain itself is alive, crawling through your skin and wiring itself into your nerves. Your muscles tighten involuntarily. Your heartbeat accelerates. Your skin feels like it's being branded from the inside. What touched you is already gone, slipping back into the blue, but its presence is now everywhere inside your body. You haven't encountered a jellyfish. You've collided with something far stranger, far more deceptive, and far more dangerous. The Portuguese Man o' War dot. At first glance, the Portuguese Man o' War looks simple, almost beautiful. A translucent blue and violet float rides the surface like a dropped balloon, glowing softly against the waves. Many swimmers mistake it for harmless debris or a single gelatinous animal drifting without intent. That assumption is the first and most dangerous mistake. The man-o'-war is not a jellyfish. It isn't even a single organism. What you're looking at is a floating biological alliance. A colony so tightly integrated that it behaves like one creature while being made of many. It is a siphonophore, one of the most extreme examples of biological cooperation ever produced by evolution. Single Portuguese man-o'-war is composed of hundreds, sometimes more than 1,000 genetically identical individuals known as zooids. Each zooid begins life as a clone, but very early in development, each is locked into a specific role. Unlike animals that grow and adapt as individuals, these zooids never change jobs. They do not think, learn, or decide. They exist solely to perform one function for the colony. Alone, they cannot survive. Together, they become something far more powerful than the sum of their parts. This is not cooperation in the casual sense. It is biological surrender. Each zooid gives up independence entirely, so the colony can function as a single predatory system. At the top of the colony is the pneumatophore, the gas-filled float that most people mistake for the animal itself. This structure forms first during development and acts as the physical and organizational foundation for everything that follows. It is filled primarily with carbon monoxide, produced by specialized cells, allowing it to remain buoyant. Rising above the surface, it catches the wind like a living sail. The pneumatophore has no muscles, no brain, and no ability to steer. The direction of the wind determines the direction of its life. Some individuals even develop a slight left or right bias in the sail's orientation, reducing the chance that entire populations strand themselves on shore at once. This floating sail is both the colony's strength and its greatest vulnerability. If the pneumatophore is punctured by waves, rocks, predators, or passing boats, the entire colony is doomed. Without access to the surface, the man-o'-war cannot feed, reproduce, or regulate its position in the water. The zooids beneath may continue to function for a short time, but without the float, the colony slowly sinks, starves, and disintegrates. The death of the pneumatophore is the death of the man-o'-war as a whole. Hanging beneath, the surface is where the real danger lies. Long, thread-like tentacles trail behind the colony, sometimes extending more than 50 meters, longer than a blue whale. These tentacles belong to specialized zooids called dactylos, and their only purpose is to capture prey and defend the colony. Each tentacle is densely packed with thousands of microscopic stinging cells known as nematocysts. These are not passive weapons. They are among the fastest biological mechanisms known to science. When triggered by contact or chemical signals, a nematocyst fires in less than a microsecond. A coiled harpoon-like structure explodes outward, piercing skin and injecting venom with extraordinary precision. The venom of the Portuguese Man War is a complex cocktail of neurotoxins, cardiotoxins, and enzymes designed to overwhelm prey instantly. In small fish, the effect is immediate paralysis. Muscles lock, nervous systems fail, and escape becomes impossible. The prey is dragged deeper into the tangled forest of tentacles, where the colony's next set of zooids takes control. These are the gastrozooids responsible for digestion. Unlike animals that bite or chew, the man-o-war feeds externally. The gastrozooids secrete powerful enzymes that begin breaking down tissue on contact, liquefying soft parts and absorbing nutrients directly. Bones, scales, and other indigestible material are eventually released back into the ocean. The efficiency of this system is brutal. The man-o-war does not chase, stalk, or ambush in the traditional sense. It simply exists, drifting with currents, trailing invisible death behind it. Any organism that swims into that space becomes part of its energy supply. There is no struggle, no prolonged pursuit. Evolution has refined this process into a near-automatic response, requiring no central brain, no conscious coordination. Each zooid responds to chemical and physical cues, and together they produce behavior that appears intentional, even intelligent. Reproduction in the Portuguese Man-o-war is handled by yet another class of zooids called gonozooids. Each colony is either male or female, never both. These reproductive units produce eggs or sperm, but do not release them randomly. When environmental conditions are right and multiple colonies drift close together, reproductive zooids release their gametes simultaneously, increasing the chances of fertilization. The resulting larvae do not become miniature man-o-wars immediately. Instead, development begins with the formation of a new pneumatophore. From that single structure, all other zooids bud and specialize, recreating the entire colony from the top down. What reproduces is not an individual, but an entire living system. For humans, the encounter is accidental but unforgettable. When a man-o-war tentacle makes contact with skin, thousands of nematoses fire at once. Even detached tentacles, long separated from the colony, can still sting with full force. The venom floods nerve endings, sending intense pain signals to the brain while simultaneously disrupting normal electrical communication in the body. Muscles begin to spasm. Breathing becomes difficult. Victims often describe the sensation as burning, crushing, and electric all at once. Panic makes everything worse as movement increases contact with remaining tentacles, triggering additional stings. In severe cases, systemic reactions occur. The venom can interfere with heart rhythm, leading to irregular heartbeat or, in rare situations, cardiac arrest. Seizures have been reported, particularly in children or individuals with heightened sensitivity to the toxins. While healthy adults rarely die from a single sting, the experience can last for hours or days, leaving scars that trace the shape of the tentacles across the skin like alien whip marks. Despite its lethality, the Portuguese Man-o-war is not invincible. Several predators have evolved defenses against its venom. Loggerhead sea turtles consume them regularly, protected by thick skin and specialized digestive systems that neutralize the toxins. Certain seabirds selectively feed on safer parts of the colony, avoiding the most dangerous tentacles. Perhaps the most surreal interaction belongs to the blanket octopus, which has been observed tearing off man-o-war tentacles and wielding them as living weapons, using the stolen stingers to defend itself against predators. Even in death, the man-o-war remains dangerous. Washed-up colonies can sting days or even weeks after reaching shore. The nematocysts remain loaded, waiting for contact. Beachgoers often underestimate this threat, touching dried tentacles and triggering delayed but powerful stings. Scientists study the venom not just for its danger, but for its precision. The same compounds that cause agony could one day be used to develop new painkillers, muscle relaxants, or treatments for neurological disorders. The toxins target specific nerve channels with remarkable accuracy, something modern medicine struggles to replicate artificially. The Portuguese Man o' War has existed for millions of years, drifting Earth's oceans long before humans appeared. It plays a critical role in marine ecosystems, controlling populations of small fish and plankton. But as ocean currents shift due to climate change, man-o'-wars are appearing in new regions, increasing human encounters. Massive strandings have already closed beaches and injured thousands, reminding us that the ocean's strangest creatures are not distant curiosities. They share our world, and if you ever see that blue, shimmering float riding the waves, remember this. You are not looking at a jellyfish. You are looking at a living minefield, assembled cell by cell through evolution, drifting patiently, waiting for a single mistake. What makes the Portuguese Man War truly unsettling is not just the pain it causes, but how little effort it takes to do so. This organism does not hunt in the way predators usually do. There's no pursuit, no ambush, no calculation. Instead, it relies entirely on physics and probability. Wind, waves, and currents decide its path. Evolution has outsourced movement to the planet itself. The ocean becomes its engine, and chance becomes its strategy. Anywhere life swims, the Man-o'-war's tentacles may already be waiting, stretched thin and nearly invisible, forming a lethal perimeter far larger than the floating sail above. The stinging cells embedded in those tentacles are among the most sophisticated weapons ever evolved without a brain. Each nematocyst is a pressurized capsule containing a tightly coiled tubule tipped with microscopic barbs. Inside is venom held under extreme osmotic pressure. When triggered, water rushes in, pressure spikes, and the tubule explodes outward faster than a bullet can travel its own length. This all happens so quickly that even high-speed cameras struggle to capture the full sequence. There is no warning, no gradual escalation. Contact equals injection. What's remarkable is how selective these stings can be. Some nematocysts are triggered mechanically, responding to touch. Others respond chemically, firing only when specific compounds associated with prey are detected. This layered trigger system prevents the colony from wasting venom on debris while maximizing efficiency when living tissue is encountered. It's not intelligence in the conscious sense, but it is precision born from millions of years of refinement. Once venom enters the human body, its effects cascade rapidly. Sodium and potassium channels in nerve cells are disrupted, causing pain signals to fire uncontrollably. Muscles receive conflicting instructions to contract and relax, leading to spasms and weakness. Blood vessels may constrict or dilate unpredictably, contributing to dizziness and nausea. The immune system reacts aggressively, sometimes amplifying the damage through inflammation. What feels like chaos is actually the venom doing exactly what it evolved to do: shut down complex biological systems as fast as possible. Medical treatment focuses on limiting further nematocyst discharge and managing symptoms. Contrary to popular myth, fresh water and alcohol can worsen stings by triggering additional firing of undischarged cells. Vinegar is often recommended because it can deactivate remaining nematocysts in some species, though its effectiveness for man-o'-war stings remains debated. Heat, however, has been shown to help. Immersing the affected area in hot water can denature venom proteins, reducing pain and tissue damage. Still, even with treatment, recovery can be slow, and scars may remain as physical reminders of an invisible encounter. Beyond human interactions, the Portuguese Man-o' War exists as part of a larger drifting community. Small fish often shelter among its tentacles, immune or resistant to the venom. These fish gain protection from predators while feeding on scraps left behind by the colony. In return, they may attract larger prey into the danger zone. This uneasy alliance highlights how even extreme threats become resources in nature. Reshaped by adaptation rather than avoided entirely, the man-o'-war itself is not a strong swimmer, but it is far from defenseless. Its venom deters most would-be predators, and its sheer size makes it an inefficient meal for many animals. Yet evolution has found ways around even this. Sea slugs of the genus Glaucus, sometimes called blue dragons, feed exclusively on venomous siphonophores. These tiny creatures not only resist the venom but store the nematocysts in their own tissues, repurposing them as weapons. The predator becomes armed with the prey's own defenses, a biological inversion that blurs the line between hunter and hunted dot as ocean temperatures rise. Wind patterns and currents shift. This has consequences for species like the man-o'-war that rely entirely on passive movement. Regions that once rarely saw them now experience regular invasions. Beaches close. Lifeguards raise warnings. Encounters increase, not because the organism has changed, but because the environment it drifts through has. Climate change doesn't create new dangers. It redistributes old ones into unfamiliar places. Despite their fearsome reputation, Portuguese man-o'-wars are not aggressive. They do not seek humans. Every sting is accidental, the result of overlap between human recreation and an ancient survival strategy. Yet accidents do not make the pain any less real. Evolution does not care about intent. Only outcomes. The longer scientists study siphonophores, the more unsettling questions emerge. At what point does a colony become an individual? Is the man-o'-war a single animal? Or is it something closer to a biological machine assembled from living parts? Each zooid is alive, yet none can survive alone. Together, they behave as one. It challenges the very definition of individuality in biology. In many ways. The Portuguese man-o'-war represents a path evolution rarely takes. Instead of building complexity inside a single body, it distributes complexity across many bodies locked into permanent cooperation. No nervous system coordinates the colony, yet coordinated behavior emerges. No brain plans the hunt, yet prey is captured with terrifying efficiency. It is proof that intelligence-like outcomes do not require intelligence. Only enough time and selective pressure, drifting endlessly, feeding without pursuit, reproducing without courtship. The man-o'-war exists in a state that feels almost alien. It is neither predator nor trap in the traditional sense, but something in between. A floating boundary between life and death, stretched thin across the surface of the sea. And the most unsettling part is this: the ocean is vast, but the man-o'-war doesn't need to fill it. It only needs to be where you are once. The Portuguese man-o'-war's life cycle completes the picture of a system both elegant and terrifying. After fertilization, the developing larvae form a new pneumatophore, the gas-filled float that will define the colony's structure and trajectory. From this single organ, the other specialized zooids bud in a precise sequence, each with a predetermined role. Dactylus for prey capture, gastrozooids for digestion, and gonozooids for reproduction. Unlike typical animals, the colony never experiences plasticity in its functional units. Evolution has carved out an inflexible yet highly efficient division of labor. The result is a biological superorganism, multiple individual entities fused into a single operational unit, whose survival depends on the integrity of the whole. This complete interdependence raises profound questions about individuality and organismal identity in nature, challenging the standard definitions of what constitutes a single animal at sea. The man-o'-war operates as a passive predator. Its tentacles, though unassuming, form a vast three-dimensional trap that drifts with currents and tides, expanding its reach far beyond the visible float at the surface. The dactylos embedded along these tentacles are equipped with nematocysts, so finely tuned that they target prey with remarkable specificity. When triggered, they release venom in a precise, microsecond-scale reaction, piercing tissues and immobilizing the victim almost instantly. Enzymes secreted by the gastrozoids then liquefy the prey, allowing nutrient absorption without the need for physical ingestion. From an evolutionary perspective, this system represents a pinnacle of functional optimization. No energy is wasted on pursuit, hunting, or complex digestion. The colony relies on the ocean's motion and the chemical cues of prey, a synergy between organism and environment honed over millions of years. The human encounter with a Portuguese Man o' war is accidental but can be medically significant. Nematocyst venom targets ion channels in the nervous system, triggering uncontrolled firing and muscular spasms. Systemic effects include tachycardia, respiratory difficulty, and in rare instances, cardiovascular collapse. While fatalities are uncommon, the intensity of the pain and the systemic reactions highlight the evolutionary sophistication of the venom. It is a cocktail refined for maximum efficiency, capable of immobilizing prey larger than itself relative to the colony's size. Detachment from the colony does not neutralize the threat. Even tentacles washed ashore remain stinging for weeks, demonstrating the long-term persistence of the venom's mechanochemical triggers. Predation on the man-o'-war is limited, but not absent. Loggerhead turtles consume them routinely, protected by thickened epidermis and a digestive system adapted to neutralize nematocysts. Some seabirds selectively feed on accessible parts of the colony, avoiding the venomous tentacles. The blanket octopus exhibits one of the most striking predator-prey adaptations in the marine world, tearing off tentacles and using them as living weapons against other animals. Even in this interaction, the venom serves as a transferable defense, highlighting both the potency and adaptability of this biological system beyond its immediate ecological role. The man-o'-war is a subject of intense scientific interest. Its venom contains bioactive compounds with potential pharmacological applications, including pain management, neuromodulation, and treatment of muscular and neurological disorders. Ion channel specificity, combined with rapid onset and potency, makes the venom a natural template for developing precise biochemical interventions. What evolution has optimized for predation could one day be translated into life-saving human therapies, demonstrating that even the most dangerous organisms can yield unexpected benefits. The colonial nature of the man-o'-war also provides insight into evolution's capacity for distributed complexity. Individual zooids cannot survive independently, yet together they function as an emergent entity capable of sensing, capturing, digesting, and reproducing. No single unit decides anything. The colony is an emergent intelligence, a functional superorganism that blurs traditional biological boundaries. It embodies an evolutionary principle that complexity need not reside in a centralized system to produce highly coordinated outcomes. As climate change alters ocean currents and wind patterns, man-o'-wars are appearing in areas where they were once rare. Their passive dispersal means that human activity increasingly intersects with their natural range, resulting in more frequent stings and strandings. These events serve as a reminder that the ocean is a shared environment and that even small, passive organisms can have profound consequences when environmental conditions shift. In conclusion, the Portuguese man-o'-war is more than a dangerous curiosity. It is a living experiment in extreme specialization, a model of cooperative survival, and a repository of biochemical innovation. Its tentacles, venom, and floating pneumatophore represent millions of years of natural selection acting on a distributed, integrated system. The human experience of its sting underscores the precision of its evolved mechanisms, while its ecological and pharmacological significance demonstrates the unexpected value of even the most lethal marine organisms. Encountering a Portuguese Man O-War is a reminder of the ocean's complexity, its indifference, and its ancient, ongoing experiments in life. For scientists, it is a window into evolution, neurobiology, and pharmacology. For the casual swimmer, it is a source of pain, respect, and caution. For the ecosystem, it is a predator, prey, and participant in a delicate balance that sustains marine life. Drift past it and you see only a floating blue balloon. Cross its path and you confront an integrated system designed to capture, immobilize, and digest. In this contrast lies the wonder and terror of the Portuguese Man O-War, a creature that challenges perception, redefines individuality, and reminds us that even the smallest organisms can shape the world around them in profound ways.